Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars YOUniverse podcast. I'm your host James, and this month, it's just me. I was hoping to have Josh Hoyt return to the cast, but unfortunately, he was called into a meeting at the time of our call, and so we are going to push back that conversation a couple of weeks, and so you'll probably hear parts of it, maybe all of it, we'll see how it goes, next month. This month's been a strange month for me in life and in Star Wars. So I think I mentioned in the last episode that I had a bit of family stuff going on. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way any of us wanted, and I ended up with a family bereavement. And as a result of that, everything has taken a bit of a back seat the last few weeks. And so I don't think I've actually done a huge amount of Star Warsing this month, which is a rarity for me, but obviously outside factors have played their part in that. I have been keeping up with the news, and so I thought we would just run through a few of those. This is probably going to be a bit of a shorter episode. I do still have some feedback from some people. I haven't really been in the mood to engage with the community as a whole. It takes quite a lot of effort to stay positive in the Star Wars community at times, and I just haven't had the bandwidth to even really go looking for it. So apologies for anyone who has missed me or has missed engaging with me or anything like that. I have been engaging with a couple of people though, and of those they have provided me some feedback. So I'll get to that a little bit later on, but for now I just want to talk about what's been going on. It's been a busy few days, really, more than month. There's been a lot. I saw recently Celebration Japan is completely sold out. A bunch of people have been announced for panels and interviews and appearances at Celebration, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing the live streams and things like that. Obviously, I would love to have been there in person, but Japan is a long, long way away. I have been to Japan previously, and I would love to go back. I'm desperate to go back. Just couldn't quite make it work this time round with Celebration. But Star Warsing in Japan is definitely on my bucket list. I don't know if anyone else has seen them, but they did release a bunch of artwork, sort of various characters in the guise of Japanese style artwork. So there was Yoda, which was absolutely fantastic. The Darth Vader as a samurai with like a flaming lightsaber. Absolutely outrageously good, really, that one. Padme as a geisha. Luke Skywalker as a samurai with a flaming green sword with cherry blossom in the background. The Jeweler Mustafar with an adaptation of the very famous Tsunami Wave piece of Japanese art. But instead of it being water, it's lava on Mustafar, again with the flaming swords. Really, really cool artwork. Ahsoka, which obviously her outfit is heavily inspired by Japanese culture and history, with again some cherry blossom in the background as well. Just absolutely fantastic. Really, really nice artwork. And if anyone feels like they want to go and look it up, I would really, really recommend it. It's absolutely beautiful. The Yoda one, naturally, is my new lock screen for my phone. I utilised the Celebration Japan Vader with the Japanese flag behind him for quite some time, and I really, really loved that piece of artwork, and these other ones are just gorgeous. Really, really nice. So we also have the Andor Season 2 trailer was released. The full trailer, or the latest trailer I should say. It was a weird choice of music over it. It caught me out with Sabine in Ahsoka as well, when real life music comes into it rather than the classical scores and the iconic pieces of music that we have throughout the Star Wars universe. Regular music really caught me off guard. I didn't hate it. I've watched the trailer a couple of times now, and I enjoyed it. I think it's showing us what we definitely want to see out of the season. All the characters. I'm very interested in the Mon Mothma rave. I don't really understand what that's all about. Not the sort of thing I would have ever imagined Mon Mothma doing. It was just a strange moment, really. Cassian all done up for a night on the town. That was, again, a weird look because it's not something we're used to seeing. He reminded me of Benicio del Toro, DJ from The Last Jedi, kind of that sort of slick look, but kind of an 80s vibe to it. It was strange. It was strange. Saw some K2SO, we saw some Luthen Rail, we saw a lot of characters. A lot of characters that are... we saw Krennic, which will be cool. I can't remember the other Lady Imperial's name, who I absolutely loved her story in Andor Season 1, and it's really annoying me that I can't remember her name. But we saw her. And yeah, it's drawing me in more than I thought it would. I've been probably quite a vocal disliker of Andor, and it's not because I dislike the series. It's because I think it's tempering expectations, my own, more than anyone else's. I never want to temper anyone else's expectations of something. If you're super hyped about something, that is awesome. But I think my stance on it is we're only halfway through the story in terms of what we've seen so far. We see another shot of the Death Star. The laser's out of it. That irritated me a little bit when I saw it, because, well, we saw it all at the end of Andor being linked together. I know we see it going in, the laser disc being inserted in Rogue One. A little bit of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff. Doctor Who reference there. And yeah, it was a good trailer. Let's put it that way. It was a good trailer, weird music, but I watched it a couple of times. Sorry guys, you're going to hear my voice crack a little bit. I'm still battling a really bad sore throat at the moment, and so I have to keep pausing and coughing and clearing my throat. So apologies if this ends up feeling a little bit choppy. But yeah, I think it's an interesting story to tell. It's not one I was particularly bothered by, much like I felt about Solo. I really like Solo. I think it's a really good film. Yeah, Andor Season 2, I'm starting to look forward to it. I think it's out end of March. And they're releasing it in 4 lots of 3 episode releases. So we should hopefully get 4 complete arcs if they do anything like the first series. So that'll be good. So I know we're going to see the development and the meeting of Cassian and K2SO, which I am looking forward to. K2SO was one of the best things about Rogue One for me. I really, really liked him. And so I'm really looking forward to it. Next episode, we'll be able to at least have seen the first 3 episodes. I will hold off on recording until I've seen those 3. And hopefully it's good. That's all I can really say about it at this point in time, isn't it? I just hope it's good. And another big bit of news which hit the airwaves the day of recording this episode is that Kathleen Kennedy may be retiring. I didn't see that one coming. She has faced a lot of criticism over the years. I've liked some of the stuff she's done. I've not liked some of the stuff she's done, much like pretty much every director or studio head out there. No one's perfect. Not even George. George was criticised left and right through even creating a sequel in Empire Strikes Back and then creating a prequel trilogy, providing the world Jar Jar Binks, the dialogue in Attack of the Clones, and the refusal to fully embrace the expanded universe books and just saying, well, you can write it, but I will override it if I want to. The cavalier attitude of George Lucas, I fully respect. And there were points in time where I didn't like what he'd done with Star Wars. But, you know what? We're in 2025. We're 10 years past The Force Awakens. We're 20 years past the release of Episode 3. And 26 years past the release of the prequel trilogy. That's my Star Wars, is the prequel trilogy. It always has been. It's those films that really drew me in, and I love them, really. I absolutely adore those films. I enjoy all of Star Wars to some degree or another. Some stuff isn't quite for me, but I always try and look at the positive side of things. and try and focus on what I did like rather than what I didn't like. And so, if this is the swan song of Kathleen Kennedy, the only thing I can say from the Star Wars YOUniverse podcast is thank you. Thank you, Kathleen, for keeping Star Wars alive, for providing us with more films, more TV shows, more animated stuff, and for steering the ship through sometimes incredibly choppy waters. It's been a ride, and hopefully the next person they have lined up for it is up to the task and hopefully can satisfy the very vocal minority of the fan base. I really hope that can happen, and I hope that Kathleen can go away and enjoy Star Wars again, because I think the only reason that she would retire is either she's pushed or she doesn't love it anymore. And I could perfectly understand both stances there, either from Disney or from her side. I can understand it with the, as I say, vocal minority of the fan group. They don't speak for us all, and hopefully we can band together as an entire fandom. No one is going to like everything. We just need to listen and engage with everyone on the things we do like, rather than arguing about the things we don't. That's been my mission statement, really, is to try and do that, to try and bring fans together so you can bounce off ideas off each other, and to find recommendations and find things in the Star Wars universe that I might not like, but a guest of mine might. And if you find you relate to that guest, Haley, Brian, Josh, Meg, Mackenzie, and anyone out there, I've had a few guests now. If you can find something that I might not find to be what I like out of Star Wars, but they do, and you relate to them, perfect, great. If you like what I like, perfect, great. Let's talk about it. What I love about Star Wars, generates conversations. So, as I say, the only thing really to say about this news is, one, we'll see if it's true. They've said sometime this year. We'll see. If it is true, thank you. Thank you, Kathleen, for everything you've done for the fandom and for the brand. It is appreciated. We've had some fantastic stuff over the years, regardless of what other people say. If it's not true, we get more Kathleen Kennedy. That's fine. That's also good. I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff she's done over the years. We'll see what happens. The only other thing on my list here is, I think Josh sent this to me earlier, actually. Episode 3, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is getting a 20th anniversary cinematic re-release, which I am so happy for. I know it's happening in the States. I am hoping and praying it happens here in the UK as well. I would love to go back to the cinema and watch Star Wars Episode 3. I promise I won't fall asleep this time like I did with Episode 1. I say promise. I can't make that promise. I'm very, very tired at the moment. So, but it's looking like it's happening towards the end of April. So I am going to see if I can find a place near me that is showing it. I am willing to travel a bit for this because Episode 3 is my favourite Star Wars film. I don't know if I've mentioned that on the cast before. I probably have. But it is my favourite Star Wars film. I absolutely love it. Complete tangent. But speaking of Episode 3, Mustafar, Final Battle. If you haven't seen the AI-generated emo song of the Duel on Mustafar, seek it out. It is brilliant. It has become the background anthem of this year for me so far. I am obsessed with it. It is absolutely fantastic. It's been a strange month, really. Some great news in the last few days. Announcements, which, to be perfectly honest with you, has absolutely saved this episode. Otherwise, it was going to be me coming on talking about not a lot and probably wrapping it up in 15-20 minutes. but it has given me a bit more to talk about. And again, this is why I love Star Wars. Like, I'm at a pretty low point in my life right now, and this has just helped me in a really crucial way. And this is one of the reasons why I love Star Wars. Obviously, I like the actual content, but just the impact it has and the ability it has to lift me up and let me escape from what's going on around me and everything else. It's hugely, hugely appreciated. And the universe works in funny ways. It really does. But turning our attention to what I've been up to this month in Star Wars, it's not a long list. I've gone into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes in a bit more detail than I normally do. But we'll start with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, as we always do. I have recently unlocked Hunter 2, Hunt Harder. I don't know. They're releasing a new series of the Bad Batch currently through the marquee events. So I've released the updated Hunter, or the new Hunter. It's not an updated. It's a brand new character. And the new Wrecker recently. I don't know if I'd mentioned that I'd unlocked Teenage Omega as well, or Omega, however you want to call it. So I've got those unlocked. They are currently at 3 stars. Can't get them any higher without spending money, which I'm not doing at the moment. I will just wait for them to come round. There's no great end game that I'm aware of that's needed for them. So hopefully, I think we get Crosshair next, which will be good. Don't think there is a Crosshair in the game, but it's not a playable character. It's a skin for the AI opposition. But in terms of my Ahsoka Tano Galactic Legend farming, my Peridia Troopers are very close to being done. I have got one of them done, which is the Stormtrooper, Peridia Stormtrooper. They are at Relic 7 now. That's quite high on the relic levels. It's frustrating that they're all so high. I have got the other two very nearly into relics. In fact, one of them is at Gear 13, which is technically Relic 0, which is the Night Trooper. And then Captain Enoch is at Gear 12. I need one more piece of gear on him, and then he will be going to Gear 13. And then it's just a measly 14 relic levels between them. Padawan Sabine Wren, I am pushing through at the moment. I have her I think I have her at 6 stars and just started the journey up to 7 stars. So it'll be between 1 and 10 shards out of 100 left on her to go. Hu Yang, I've been getting atrocious drop rates on Hu Yang recently. He is still something out of 85. So he's at 5 stars at the moment. So I need to get him up to 85 shards and then another 100 after that for the 7th star. Hera, meanwhile, this is why my other 2 Peridia Troopers are sat at Relic 0, Gear 13. Hera was dropped on a Cantina node, which is where you farm your relic materials. And so I've been putting all of my time and effort and Cantina energy into farming her. She is, I believe, what is she at? She's 83 out of 100. So I've been able to farm her pretty quickly. She was the last one to be released as a farmable character. And she's overtaken everyone. She really has. I have also gone through and earmarked the characters that need to be at a certain level to unlock Bo-Katan, as I think she is a very, very good character in the game. It was a toss-up between Bo-Katan or the Gungans, and whilst the Gungans are really good, it's a really good team, and you get to unlock Jar Jar. I needed them all at Relic 7, and I just think without Jar Jar, they're just not good enough. And I think Bo-Katan is probably more versatile at this point in time. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. You can drop me a message on Twitter, which is at Star Wars YOUpod, or you can drop me an email, starwarsyoupod@gmail.com. Whilst you're doing those things, don't forget to follow the podcast as well. And if you head over to the YouTube channel, Star Wars YOUniverse, hit the subscribe button over there. Really, really helps. I'm up to, I think, 75 subscribers over there, steadily growing. and I want to keep that momentum going. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, one little tap. It's all you need to do. You don't even have to watch anything. Just tap the button and forget about it. Unless you like Star Wars Unlimited or the podcast. If that's the case, you can tick the bell icon and it will let you know when I upload. It's that simple. So yeah, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I've been doing an awful lot in there. We've been doing a lot of territory wars, we've been doing territory battles, I've been getting through the Reaver shard missions, where I think on our last territory battle we got 5 Reaver shards, which is a new record for our guild. There was a long time where it was just me getting shards with my Inquisitors. But yeah, so we're chipping away at that one. Very, very slowly. But it's fine. It's good. It's good fun. I am enjoying the game an awful lot more now, which is really, really good. I've not played any other games. I have not played Jedi Survivor any more than I did at the very beginning of January. I do want to try and find some time, and it's not going to be for the next couple of weeks because I've got a very busy period of work coming up. Hopefully next month I will be able to give you guys an update on Jedi Survivor. But until then, unfortunately no more. No more games have been played. Comics wise though, I did read, I finished off the Republic Under Siege, which is the Battle of Jakku, sort of 3 arc story. So you had, I think it was Insurgency Rising was the first 4, Republic Under Siege, and then The Last Stand. So I can confirm I finished Republic Under Siege number 4, and I have actually read Last Stand issues 1 to 4. So that 12 book arc is now done. It's basically the Aftermath novels, but focusing on Han, Luke and Leia. So, and what they're doing whilst everything else is happening. It was decent. It was quite interesting reading those alongside listening to Aftermath Book 2. So there are things that happen in the comic that I've already read, and I'm listening to the audiobook and going, oh, okay, that's that. So, again, the interconnectivity and what they're doing. Like the Aftermath novels came out years ago. I think several years ago at the very least. And they're just retelling this story slightly. And I love it. It's really, really good. Really, really clever. I love the fact that they are keeping it quite tight, because they're all working in quite a short window, really. The original trilogy is a period of 3 years, and this is set a year afterwards, I think. A year after the Battle of Endor. The first part's immediately after the Battle of Endor. But yeah, I've also finished Ewoks number 4, speaking of the Battle of Endor. That's set pretty quickly afterwards as well. And centres around some Imperials being in and around the Forest Moon, looking for something or other. It wasn't really for me, I'm not going to lie. It was fine. I don't really like Ewoks, never really have. But we got to see some cool monsters, we got to see some Imperials get eaten. It was fine. If you like Ewoks, if you like Return of the Jedi, you're probably going to like it. Return of the Jedi was not my favourite movie of the original trilogy, and is nowhere near my top 3 in the Star Wars movies. Out of all 9, no, it's not in the top 3rd. I know a lot of people love it, so sorry. I do have the High Republic Fear of the Jedi, book 1, to read. I haven't read it yet. I am looking forward to reading that. I do love the High Republic. I'm very sad that it is ending this year. But before the next episode comes out, I will have read Fear of the Jedi, A New Legacy. I have no idea what that's about. I don't. I just want to read it as the start of a new series. Very much looking forward to it. And the Legacy of Vader, the Kylo Ren centric comic. Not my favourite character again, but hopefully it'll flesh the character out a bit more for me. I have been very vocal in Mace Windu not being one of my favourite characters. I absolutely loved the Glass Abyss. I really thought it added so much to his character that I didn't know. And I want to say Stephen Barnes was the author of that. he did a fantastic job of weaving that story together and making me care about Mace Windu. So hopefully this can do a similar thing for Kylo. I don't dislike him. I have a few issues with him. It's as a character on the whole. I just don't think he's very well written in general. I think it's a little bit of a rehash of Vader, but just not as scary and nowhere near as cool. Well, the Vader comic is one of my favourite things in the world, and Kylo just doesn't live up to it for me. So, but that's just me. I'm going to give it a go, and I'm sure I'll like it. I'm sure I'll like bits of it. Knights of Ren, they were pretty cool. I enjoyed them when they've popped up here, there, in other places. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving those a go, and hopefully we'll be able to continue with the Dr. Aphra read as well. And she is one of my favourite characters in Star Wars. I really, really, really want a Dr. Aphra in live action or animation. I don't mind. Just give me one that moves, not just a picture on a page. I really, really like her, and I really, really want them to bring in 000 and BT1. They have to come as a package, in my view. I'm also sat there banging the drum on Hondo. We need a live-action Hondo, and before anyone comes to me, Galaxy's Edge, in my view, doesn't count because it's not widely available. You have to go to a very specific place to see it, which I do want to go to. I really want to go to Galaxy's Edge, but I am not going to be able to any time in the next few years, and that makes me sad. But I really, really want Hondo Ohnaka in some form of show soon, please. Parting gift, Kathleen? Maybe? Please? Filoni? Someone? So that's it, really, on the reading front. I've done a little bit more reading on the Aftermath book 2. Not huge amounts. I've listened to probably about a couple of hours of it. I'm enjoying it. It's not like book 1 where I just kind of put it down and when I listened to a couple of other books. I've just not had time or the headspace to sort of zone into it, really. And I want to give it the time I feel it deserves at this point in time because I am enjoying it. I want to focus on it. So hopefully, I'm sure I'll get that done this month. But there's been very little progress on that, unfortunately. But what there has been progress on is my collectibles. Star Wars Unlimited. I can now confirm Twilight of the Republic has been completed. The video has not come out yet. It will be out first proper week of March, which I believe is going to be 7th, maybe? No, that's a Friday. 10th, maybe? I think that video will be out on the 10th of me completing Twilight of the Republic. And that really is thanks to Art, who has got in contact with me by email, starwarsyoupod@gmail.com. You can also get in contact with me on Twitter or X @StarWarsYouPod. Do I need to set up another social media account for this? Do I need to set up an Instagram? Let me know. Get in contact with me at one of the two I've just mentioned and let me know. Do I need to do a Blue Sky or whatever it's called? Threads? Something? Let me know where you want me to set something up and I'll see if I can do it. I'm terrible at social media. Really am. But yeah, Art emailed me about a very specific card that I'd mentioned on a video, and we ended up having a back and forth with emails. I think we're currently at about 90 emails that we've exchanged over the course of the last few weeks, and he has very generously sent me the last 3 cards that I needed. He actually went looking for them as well, which I really, really appreciate. And so yeah, he sent them over to me from America, paid that shipping, which is brutal when it happens. I have sent him some stuff as well. So if anyone out there listening is interested in Star Wars Unlimited, and you're missing anything from any of the first 3 sets, drop me a message, get in contact with me. I have a trade binder which is literally overflowing with stuff that I neither need nor want, and I will happily post it anywhere in the world. So, let me know. But there's also a lot of anticipation for Set 4, which is coming out in a couple of weeks. It's coming out on the pre-releases on the 7th, 8th and 9th, I think. The one I'm going to is actually on the 11th, the following Tuesday. And I'm looking forward to going to that. It's going to be at a new venue over in Crowborough, near East Grinstead. Ashdown Gaming. I'm going there on Tuesday the 11th to do their pre-release event. I'm also going to be picking up some stock from them. So I'll get the starter decks, or the structure decks, I think they've renamed them now. You don't get 2 decks in it anymore. It's not a 2-player starter anymore. It's just a single deck, naturally, for a similar price. And you have to buy 2 of them. But that's business. As I've always said, Fantasy Flight games, I understand, but it's just annoying. But so I'm also be picking up a booster box. I think they're limited to 1 per person. If I can get more than 1, I may do. And I'll be getting the pre-release box, obviously, at the event. And if there are any left over at the end of the event, that is their last one, I might try and pick up another 1 or 2. We will see. We'll see what happens. But I'm also going to be getting a couple of packs of the Carbonite edition, which is the special rarities. Has a whole load of other stuff in it as well. So looking forward to that immensely. And then the full release is on the following Friday, which is going to be the 14th or 15th of March. So I am very much looking forward to that. And I've got my new binder ordered from Vortex, who do fantastic binders. My recent pack openings have just been good card chasing, showcase hunting, and I did actually pull a showcase as well. Pulled a race. I nearly said Rey Skywalker then. It's not Skywalker, it's a Palpatine. Although she does call herself Skywalker by the end, doesn't she? But yes, I pulled a Rey showcase, which is one that I'm going to send off to get graded. I actually have my list of cards to be graded next to me, so I'm just going to see if there's anything else in there that's... no, that was it. That was the only one I added to the pile recently. There's a mixture of my Star Wars cards, my son's Pokemon cards. We've got a couple of ones he wants to get graded as well. So I'll be doing that at the next card show I go to. That's about it, really, for everything I've been doing this month. I've spoken a lot more about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and Star Wars Unlimited than I have done for a long time. And if that's not your jam, then sorry. Not much I can do about that. I haven't done much else this month, really. But I do have some feedback. And that feedback is... We'll start off with Hayley Hobbs from the Source Pages podcast. So she said, my month in Star Wars, she's read the Attack of the Clones novelization. That is a great book, by the way. A really, really good book. I read that so much it fell apart when I was younger. I had to get a new one. Really, really good book. Finished the Battle of Jakku comic series. Started rewatching Rebels. That's never a bad move. If you ever can't figure out what to do in Star Wars, just rewatch Rebels. It's brilliant. And look forward to Reign of the Empire dropping on the 25th of February, which is today when I record. And actually Brian from Source Pages as well, who we'll come to in a minute, has also pre-ordered that book as well and has started listening to it. So, Brian, I want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm going to get it because it's meant to be really good, but it's going to be back in the queue a little bit. And has pre-ordered Sanctuary, a Bad Batch novel. I didn't know they were doing Bad Batch novels. I knew they were doing Acolyte novels. When are they doing Bad Batch novels? When's it out? Hayley, tell me this information, please. I could just look it up, but I won't. Brian, who normally, the aforementioned Brian, has said, he normally sends in a voice note, but he's just sent me a message today. He said, mostly collecting stuff. Finished another listen to Shadows of the Sith. Another great book. It's a long audio book, that one. I seem to recall. That was a long listen, but really, really good. Did a couple of Star Wars puzzles. I've got a couple of Star Wars puzzles in frames that I need to put up somewhere at some point. One of them started to fall apart a little bit. It was the original 6 films panoramic puzzle. That was a lot of fun to put together. I love puzzles. Anyway, I really do love them. I'm working on one at the moment with my son, which is Uluru in Australia, and that's a difficult one. We're following it up with a Pokemon one, so just to keep it balanced. He's getting ready to start a rewatch of Andor with his wife Liz, and he started Tears of the Nameless. And if we edit that slightly, he's put Tears of the Nameless on hold to start listening to Rise of the Empire. Is it Rise of the Empire? Reign of the Empire. Thank you very much, Brian, as always, for contributing, and Hayley. And our final Spark Jedi Council member, Todd, has watched Season 2 of Visions, and he liked it more than I thought I would. So there you go. I actually had a real panic when I read that first sentence, because I genuinely thought I'd missed the release date of a new season of Visions. And I don't know if you've ever seen the gif of someone like frantically searching. They're searching through their brain, but you can see their eyes darting back and forth. I genuinely did that. And I was like, have I missed something? When did Visions come back? And then I realised, no, Todd just hadn't watched the last season. And I felt very silly. He's read the High Republic comics released in January. Echoes of Fear, number 4. Phase 3 Adventures 14. And Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone, number 4. I think I've missed some High Republic comics here. I can't get Adventures over here digitally, which is annoying. What is Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone? And why are there 4 issues? Why don't I know about this? I'm going to need to go searching on Amazon or Google after this. Other digital providers are available. He's read issue number 1 of Legacy of Vader and then just said, it's good. That's all the recommendation I need, Todd. I'm going to give that a go. Absolutely. And he started playing Outlaws again after a long hiatus. So thank you very much, Todd. And I really appreciate the continued contributions to the podcast. I have had one update from Dan Griffin, who has confirmed that he has finished Jedi Survivor now. And he said, keeping it spoiler free, and I'm going to keep it clean, Dan. But oh my goodness, this game. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing my playthrough of Jedi Survivor, and I hope everyone is patient with me whilst it takes me probably a year to complete the game. I was hoping to have an update from Josh as well, but that will have to wait until next month when we can get him on the cast and he can tell us himself. So that's going to do it for me this month, and thank you everyone for listening and for bearing with me. This has been a bit of a weird episode, and I've just kind of feel like I've rambled a lot, but if you made it this far, maybe you consider hitting follow or hitting subscribe, whatever your podcatcher calls it. And if you wouldn't mind heading over to the YouTube channel, as I said earlier, Star Wars YOUniverse, links will be in the show notes, and hitting subscribe over there, that would be really, really good. That'll really help me out a lot. And yeah, until next month, may the Force be with you, always.